And yes, we're back with breaking news from YouTube, of course. In the last 24 hours, YouTube have released the details of their AI disclaimer. And what that's all about, we're going to find out right in this video. So you can see on screen, they've dropped this article here, March 18th, bright and early Monday. How we're helping creators disclose altered and synthetic content. So this goes into the main article, which talks about the fact that now that creators are able to acknowledge when they're using certain types of AI, and it's going to tell us what AI you need to disclose and what AI they don't want to know about. Because, believe it or not, they're not after AI, they're not against AI, they're actually embracing many types of AI and want you to use them as creators. So most people are probably going to go through this main news article, which we can have a look at briefly, but I'm going to go to another article in just a moment, which will give us some more details. And the question that you guys have is, what do I have to acknowledge? What don't I have to disclose? And so forth. So we're going to look into that as well. But if we scroll really quickly through this main article, we got some recaps and talks about the new label, which you're going to see on screen right now. It says altered or synthetic content. So this is an example with a short, of course, how it would appear. The similar thing would appear on a desktop video as well if you are acknowledging that you have used some sort of AI content. And in short, let's have a look. The new label is meant to strengthen transparency with viewers and build trust between creators and their audience. Some examples of content that requires disclosure include using the likeness of a realistic person, digitally altering content to replace the face of one individual with another's, or synthetically generating a person's voice to narrate a video. So we're talking about audio and video deepfakes, you've got to acknowledge. Altering footage of real events or places, such as making it appear as if a real building was caught on fire, or altering a real cityscape to make it appear different than in reality. So you're basically manipulating reality to drive some sort of agenda. Generating realistic scenes, showing a realistic depiction of fictional major events like a tornado moving towards a real town. So yeah, so again, along a similar line, something where it could cause confusion because people will take it as legitimate. Now this is important. Let's get a look at the other side, the balance. Of course, we recognize that creators use generative AI in a variety of ways throughout their creation process. We won't require creators to disclose if generative AI was used for productivity, like generating scripts, content ideas, or automatic captions. We also won't require creators to disclose when synthetic media is unrealistic and/or the changes are inconsequential. These cases can include clearly unrealistic content such as an animation or someone riding a unicorn through a fantastical world. So in other words, if you're creating something that's very much sci-fi, very much maybe in the animation space, and you used AI tools to do that, you don't need to disclose that because it's clearly something that's been generated. Color adjustment or lighting filters. So some of the AI based color corrections and beauty filters. Special effects like background blur or vintage effects. So where you're applying some fake bokeh or you know, in the background, I can make this go really out of focus with a little bit of AI, or applying like a sepia effect or something like that. None of that, it needs to be acknowledged. Beauty filters or other visual enhancements. And here it says here, you can see a longer list of examples in our help center. For most videos, a label will appear in the expanded description, but for videos that touch on more sensitive topics like health, news, elections, or finance, we'll also show a more prominent label on the video itself. You'll start to see the labels roll out across all YouTube surfaces and formats in the weeks ahead, beginning with the YouTube app on your phone and soon on your desktop and TV. So you'll start to see, as a viewer, you'll start to see these disclaimers popping up on content in the next few weeks, starting on, of course, your mobile device and moving across to TV and desktop. Now we're going to dive into the Help Center article, which goes into a little bit more depth about what it is that you need to declare and don't need to declare, because that's the important thing. That's the thing that creators are going to be asking. You're going to be in the comments, and there's probably going to be people in the comments of this video saying, if I do this, do I have to disclose the fact that I used Opus clips, or that I use this, or I use that, or whatever. I use Midjourney to do this, and I use ChatGPT to do that. We're going to try and make it clear. We're going to roll out some more continued examples from this help section article. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire article, but I've linked it in the description. And let's just go over. This is basically repeating the same thing. Creators must disclose content that makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't do, alters footage of a real event or place, and generates a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. This could include content that is fully or partially altered or created using audio, video, or image creation or editing tools. They've got more examples for us. Right here, we've got examples of contents that creators do not have to disclose. So let's go through some of those. And this will give us more of the vibe of the thing, as they say. Fans of the castle know what I'm talking about. Creators don't need to disclose unrealistic content that is altered or synthetic, or edits to realistic content that are minor. Minor edits are ones that are primarily aesthetic and don't alter the content in a way that could mislead the viewer about what actually happened. Examples of content edits or video assistant that creators don't need to disclose. Not realistic. Someone riding a unicorn for a fantastical world. We've heard that one. A green screen used to depict someone floating in space. Of course, you don't need to disclose that. Minor stuff like color adjustments or lighting filters. Special effects filters like adding background blur or vintage effects. We've talked about some of those. Production assistance like using generative AI to create or improve a video outline, a script, a thumbnail, title, or infographic. Caption creation, so taking your video and creating closed captions, running it through an AI to convert your vocals into text. You don't need to disclose that. Video sharpening, upscaling, or repair, and voice or audio repair. If you're using AI for ideation or idea generation, you don't need to disclose that. Keep in mind, the above list is not exhaustive, but have you got the gist of what they're saying is you don't need to disclose it. This is stuff that's like commonplace that creators use all the time. It's a creator tool. It's not a tool used for misleading. So let's look at some of the examples again, going to the other side, of content creators need to disclose. This is a more comprehensive list now. You can see there's a lot of points on here. To help keep viewers informed about the content they are viewing, we require creators to disclose content that is altered or synthetic when it appears realistic or meaningful. Like it could be taken as the real thing, the real deal, legit. That's when you have to disclose it. Examples of content edits or video assistants that creators need to disclose. Synthetically generating music, including music generated using creator music. Voice cloning someone else's voice to use it for a voiceover. So it's using somebody else's voice to make a voiceover. It's not your own voice, like a famous person, another creator, to make it sound like they're saying something that they haven't actually said with their own voice. Synthetically generating extra footage of a real space, like a video of a surfer in Maui for a promotional travel video. Synthetically generating a realistic video of a match between two real professional tennis players. So we're basically in those two examples there with the surfers and the tennis players. It's assumed that these people are famous, and we're basically using their likeness to create a scenario that didn't actually happen, making it appear as someone gave advice that they did not actually give. So this often comes to the using their likeness and then using a deepfake voice to say things that they didn't say. Digitally altering audio to make it sound as if a popular singer missed a note in their live performance. Showing a realistic depiction of a tornado or other weather events moving toward a real city that didn't actually happen. Making it appear as if hospital workers turned away sick or wounded patients. So again, we're talking about the fact that we're making it look like some people in some sort of position are doing something that they didn't actually do. These are all examples of that quite often. depicting a public figure stealing something that they did not steal, or admitting to stealing something when they did not make that admission. It's digitally putting words in people's mouths, a lot of this stuff is. Making it look like a real person has been arrested or imprisoned. Keep in mind, the above list is not exhaustive, but it's going to give you the vibe of the thing, as I mentioned before. So then the question becomes, how do I disclose altered or synthetic content? It says, we require creators to disclose meaningfully altered or synthetic generated content that seems realistic. Creators can make this disclosure during the upload process. So just like when we're uploading, we've got to make other disclosures through the upload flow. The same thing applies here. Now, there's an interesting thing to note. If a creator makes a YouTube short that uses one of YouTube's generative artificial intelligence AI effects, such as Dream Track or Dream Screen, no additional steps are needed to disclose currently because they automatically disclose that. The tool will automatically disclose the use of AI for creators. To help creators, we may proactively select disclosure on their behalf if they disclose the use of altered or synthetic content in the title or description of their video. So if in the title you put in this is AI generated, or we've altered this using AI, if you mention that in the description, or if you already mentioned that in the title, it's going to pick up on that and may decide to add that on your behalf if you haven't already done so. And you can see on screen right now an example of what that upload flow question would look like. It says, do any of the following describe your content? Makes a real person appear to say or do something they didn't do. That's a good way of putting it. Alters footage of a real event or place, or generates a realistic looking scene that didn't actually occur. Can it cause confusion? Could it confuse viewers? Then say yes. Then it becomes a question of what happens after creators disclose. What does YouTube do with that information? How does it present that to viewers? If creators select yes to indicate that their content is altered or synthetic, we'll add a label to their video's description field. These labels will show for viewers watching YouTube videos on a mobile device or tablet for now. And there's some examples here we're showing on screen as well of different ways it could show up in a shorts example. Now we have a section here called Additional Label for Sensitive Content. High quality and timely information about elections, ongoing conflicts, natural disasters, finance, or health is very important. This type of information can greatly affect the well-being, financial security, or safety of people and communities. For content about sensitive topics like these, a more prominent label in the video player may also appear for added transparency. Other impacts of disclosing. Disclosing content as altered or synthetic won't limit a video's audience or impact its eligibility to earn money. So whatever YouTube allows right now for that content without all the disclaimers and so forth, that changes nothing in regards to the way the video is promoted and the way the video is monetized. Has zero impact on monetization and promotion. Now, what is the risk if you have the AI content that they say you should acknowledge and you don't acknowledge it? The risks of not disclosing. It can be misleading if viewers think a video is real, when it's actually been meaningfully altered or synthetically generated to seem realistic. When content is undisclosed, in some cases YouTube may take action to reduce the risk of harm to viewers by proactively applying a label that creators will not have the option to remove. Additionally, creators who consistently choose not to disclose this information may be subject to penalties from YouTube, including the removal of content, suspension from the YouTube Partner Program. Remember, we apply our community guidelines to all content on YouTube, regardless whether it's altered or synthetic. So basically what I'm saying is, okay, if you forget to check the box for or say yes for whatever reason, they're going to come along and say, we think that is, so we're going to mark it like it is and say this has been AI generated, and that's it. But if you start doing a pattern of just not acknowledging AI generated content, or the AI generated content you're supposed to disclose, if you are a repeat offender, not acknowledging that, they're going to take action, which basically means it's falling into a community guideline violation, and so you could earn yourself a strike, have content removed, or even if all those add up over time, 3 strikes and termination. I don't know what this is. What's this? All right, so this is the Q&A part of the show. So if you have a question that we may not have talked about or covered in the video so far using YouTube's provided help information, then put it in the comments below. If I know the answer, I'll jump in and answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll see if I can find out the answer for you. And if you want even more breaking news, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And recently, I put out a video. This is the first in a series of the YouTube Studio on desktop. And it's all about every setting that you need to know for your channel in the settings section. So you want to check it out? It's right here. I'll see you over there. And if not, this is Doug, and I'll catch you later.